Welcome to the Motheroo Podcast with your hosts, River and Riley. In today's explainer, we're diving into a really fascinating blog post that unpacks the science behind your baby's unique personality.
Okay, so let's just jump right in with a question that I think every parent has asked themselves probably at 3 in the morning. Why is it that some babies can sleep through a rock concert while others wake up if you so much as sneeze 2 rooms away?
Well, the answer really comes down to this big idea called temperament. And this isn't just about their mood on any given day. No, this is the why behind their behavior. It's the fundamental, built-in blueprint for how they react to the world.
Now, this part is absolutely crucial. Temperament is not something they learn, and it's definitely not a reflection of your parenting. It's their innate biological style, right from day one. I love this way of thinking about it. Temperament is the raw clay, and personality is the unique sculpture that gets built from that clay over many, many years.
So, to help us get a handle on this, some landmark research broke it down into 3 main patterns. And it's so important to remember. These aren't rigid boxes to put your kid in. Think of them more as helpful guides for understanding their natural tendencies.
Now, what's really interesting here is how this all breaks down. Sure, you've got 40% that fall into that easy bucket, but look at that huge slice. 35% are a combination of traits. This just goes to show that most kids are a beautiful, unique mix. They don't fit into one neat little box, and that is perfectly okay.
Let's quickly break down what these labels actually mean. The easy or flexible child, they're generally pretty adaptable, pretty cheerful. Then you have the feisty child. They feel everything with incredible intensity. Their highs are high, their lows are low, and their schedules can be unpredictable. Finally, there's the slow to warm up child. This is your little observer, the one who wants to hang back and check out the scene before they decide to jump in.
And this brings us to what might just be the single most important idea in this entire explainer. It's not really about which temperament your child has. It's about how that temperament matches their environment. And there's a name for this. It's called goodness of fit. You know, this idea is a total game changer. It shifts your focus away from trying to change your child's core nature and instead puts the focus on adapting the environment, and that includes your parenting, to support exactly who they are.
This illustrates it perfectly. A high-energy kid isn't the problem. But that high energy in a tiny, cramped apartment, yeah, that can feel like a problem. Take that same exact kid and put them in a home with a big backyard, and suddenly that energy is a huge asset. The child is the same, the environment changed the outcome.
And here is the key takeaway, and this is backed by so much research. Your effort to create a supportive environment that fits your child, that has a greater impact on their future than the specific traits they were born with. I mean, just let that sink in. That is incredibly empowering. Okay, so if creating that fit is the main goal, how in the world do we actually do it? Well, the great news is the research gives us some really clear practical strategies that are tailored to each of these temperament types. You might think an easy kid doesn't need much, but they totally thrive on structure too. For them, the goal is to provide those consistent routines they love, but also to introduce small, gradual challenges that help them build resilience for when things, don't go so smoothly.
For that feisty child who feels things so deeply, predictability is your absolute best friend. Consistent routines and calm, firm boundaries create a sense of safety in their world. And listen, parenting a high-intensity child takes a ton of energy. Parent self-care isn't a luxury here. It is an essential part of the plan. This right here, this is one of the most powerful tools you have. Acknowledging their big feelings without judgment doesn't mean you're giving in. No way. It means you're teaching them that their emotions are valid, which is the very first step toward them learning how to manage those emotions themselves.
Now, with a more cautious child, patience is everything. You don't want to just push them into the deep end of the pool. Instead, you introduce new people and places slowly. You celebrate those small steps of bravery, and you let them adapt at their own speed. Doing this builds a deep well of trust and confidence.
And all of this leads to the final and I think most empowering piece of the entire puzzle, the profound, scientifically proven impact of your responsive care.
It truly doesn't matter if your child is feisty, flexible, or cautious. The science is just overwhelmingly clear on this. Being attuned to their cues and responding sensitively to what they need is the single most critical factor for their healthy development. It's the universal key.
And this is the moment that should give every parent goosebumps. Your sensitive, responsive care isn't just comforting your baby. Neuroscience shows it is actively shaping their developing brain. It's literally helping to build stronger pathways for emotional regulation that will last a lifetime.
So, we'll leave you with this question to think about. Maybe it's just giving a 5-minute warning before leaving the park, or maybe it's just taking one deep breath before you validate a big feeling. If you want to read the full blog post that inspired this explainer, including all the scientific citations, just head on over to motheroohq.com.